Hey everyone, welcome back. Today is going to be part 2 of installing a receptacle to power my tower over here. In part 1, I covered pulling wire through the wall to my junction box and installing this RAB box and installing the in-use cover and the GFCI inside. So now in part 2, today's video, we're going to tie in the Lumex that I pulled inside the wall into the junction box. So tie everything in right there and install the new circuit breaker. Alright, so let's begin with tying in the new circuit. I'm going to strip our new Lumex that we pulled in here. So right here is our spare circuit. First, I'm going to deal with our grounding conductor. It's this other grounding wire that I had to disconnect. I'm able to fit my hands in there to push that connector in. You would have seen that in my last video.
Tie this guy in too.
I'm going to tighten up this moret. This is about the most I'd be able to fit in this moret. Probably should actually have a bigger one. I'll probably have to come back and change this.
Push back on other circuits we don't need to work on anymore.
Now we're just left with spare 14.2, which I'm going to take this label off here. Take off this label here that says spare 14.2. And replace it with one that says, well, let's just call it outside GFCI. Alright, I decided to call it top GFCI since there is a lower one, and that could get confusing if I just said outside GFCI or tower GFCI isn't really a good name because it could be used for something else. So I'm gonna all 4 wires. Always pre-twist connections. I've seen too many fail from not pre-twisting. Some people say it's not needed, but I don't believe it after fixing issues with people in the past not pre-twisting on even brand new buildings that have only been in service for a couple months. And that was done to my school building, and the company that did it made quite a few mistakes, actually, quite a few mess ups, and one of them was not pre-twisting any of their joints. Or I shouldn't say any of them, I'm sure some of them were just, I obviously haven't looked at every single junction box, but there's already been multiple issues with stuff not working and stuff stopping working partway through, a couple months in, because of pre-twisting not being done. Put that cover back on there. So I know once I go into the panel, it will be called spare 14-2 since there's only one left. And there's a spare 12-2, and I know it won't be that one since this is just a 15 amp circuit. Go. All right, now I'm gonna go into this panel. Now I'm gonna leave it on. I don't recommend it, it's not safe to do. If you can turn something off, turn it off. But I'm going to leave it on because I don't want to have the sound of all the UPSs and panels beeping in the background, and I need the light to make the video. But I'm gonna be safe and use insulated tools and place myself in a safe situation that if I was to become energized, I would not be touching any surface at a different potential. It's a very long way of saying I'm gonna be safe about it and treat everything cautiously. Now I like to open the panel so I can hold it. Now pull the cover straight off. You don't want to let it slide or anything, just straight off. So hopefully you can see that right here we have a spare 14-2. Now I've already landed all of my neutrals. There's nothing left to do there. Just have to tie in the hot. So now if you want to see me bringing all these spare circuits in, I have a video of running new dedicated circuits and installing this junction box and pulling all of that up and all of that stuff. So if you're interested, go check out that video. I actually liked that video, but didn't get a ton of views. So spare 14-2, I'll pull this guy up here. Being mindful that those bus bars are live. These are neutral bars, they're fine to touch. So if my breaker is going to end up right there. You know, panels are actually getting a lot safer to work on live than some of the older panels with big exposed bus bars. These have a lot more shielding, protecting the live components. They're getting better, I should say. This panel is actually one of the not so good ones of new panels. There's actually quite a bit of bus bar exposed versus some of Square D QO panels, I think, or Homeline panels. I can't remember which one. One of them has the same bus bar as this, and one of them just has these little flat tabs that the breakers go onto, which are safer. Here's my breaker. It's a Schneider Electric single pole 15 amp breaker. There's the part that goes onto the bus bar. There's the part that attaches to here. So I put this on, they come in the trip position. You just hook this part in here, that hooks in, and you push the other part. I just give it a little shove and it goes right onto the bus bar. One thing you gotta be careful of is don't slip and push off into the bus bar with your hand, because I would have been fine since I'm not touching anything grounded, but if I had another hand on there, that could be bad. So now I'm going to cut this guy right there. So now I'll strip off a little bit. Unscrew our breaker and put this underneath our breaker terminal. As you see, that's stripped just to the right amount. Actually, it could be stripped a little bit more because I want it to be fully seated until it stops, but not a whole lot of copper showing. So that could be stripped a little better. There we go. When it's fully seated, none of it is, there's not a whole lot of copper showing. Now everything is all done in the panel here. Nothing else to do. All my grounds have been bonded and all of my neutrals are connected to the neutral bus, and yeah, everything's good. So I've got one more 12 tube left in this panel should I ever need it for something. Pop our panel cover back on. All right, that's one last thing. Have to take out the new knockout. For some reason I always forget to do that. I'm really bad about that. This isn't my first time forgetting to do that, and I'm like, what? Why won't the panel cover go on? There we go, there we go. Now I'm going to reset the breaker and see if it blows up on me. Hopefully it doesn't. They don't really commonly blow up. If it is shorted, you'll reset it and you'll hear it go chunk as soon as you turn it on, like a different sort of clunk than when it holds. So turn it off, turn it on, look away. There we go. The GFCI receptacles usually come tripped. In fact, they always pretty much trip when you first give them power, first turn them on. So I'll go reset it and take a plug tester out and test the receptacle. See if it came tripped. Yes, it did. Reset. There we go. Turn on the plug tester. Correct wiring. GFCI test. Tripped it. I like these Legrand receptacles a lot better than the Leviton ones. At least the GFCI ones, the buttons are bigger and easier to push, which I'm not trying to call out the old people, but lots of old people with not very strong hands cannot reset the Leviton receptacles. They really struggle. They have to get like a screwdriver or something to push in there to hit the reset button. But the Legrand ones people find are a lot easier to reset, so I like to install them better. I'm going to unplug this cord here. Plug it into our new receptacle. So now we've got power over to the tower again. Run this out here. Close it up. This receptacle can become a regular use receptacle again, not locked up, so I'll take that lock off there. GFCI lock. God, I really need to grow another hand here. Hard to do stuff with just two of them. Little lock up here. And there it is, all locked up. I'll probably come back and put some silicone around there. Last step I just completed was labeling the panel schedule, which I just call it soffit recep, short for soffit receptacle. So now that is about it for this video. So if you enjoyed this video, found it entertaining or useful, make sure to hit the like button and give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, go subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're interested in seeing more videos like this, because it really helps me out a lot if you subscribe. Also, if you're interested, go follow my Instagram account at pickle700 for bonus content and stuff that you can see earlier than on the YouTube channel. Now, if you have any comments or questions, leave those down in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching.